Dire team ban. Tongfu's turn to ban. Dire team ban.
Welcome back, everybody, to your coverage of the Redbull ECL, the Red Bull Esports Champions League. I'm Basecamp here providing coverage on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and this is our final game of the evening. It's the second game of the two-game series between Titan and Tongfu for the round-robin portion of this competition. And Titan have their backs up against the wall. They're currently 0-1. It feels like they need a miracle, and Winter, do you think they can pull it off?
Seems highly unlikely.
Oh, come on, Winter, don't be a downer. We gotta keep spirits high.
The moment I see the Naga Siren gone, I lost the miracle.
You lost the hope. I still have hope for maybe Miracle Tinker. I'm gonna keep saying it. He's really good at it, but I don't know. They haven't pulled it out in a while. They've just really been sticking to the kind of 5v1 split pushers. So we'll see.
You want to know what I think sometimes when I watch their games and when I watch Miracle play? I feel he could be a very good support player. He can play a Wisp very well.
Tongfu's turn to pick.
Yeah, he does that. He definitely does play Wisp very, very well. He's made some very flashy plays on it. But what do you...
Wow.
I think the one thing for Titan is that with Miracle on carry, everybody gets to go back to their old roles from Orange, which I think was part of the problem before when they were having other people playing. So I don't know.
Ice was the other guy they had before.
Yeah.
It sort of solved some of the problems they had after swapping Ice for Miracle, but it was evident that there were some issues that were not solved. It solved some, but didn't solve everything. If you did catch the games at ACG, they were playing with Yamate, and everything was more smooth going. Yamate was taking the solo mid and ky.xy was farming, but it wasn't because of the roles, I felt. It was because the fact that they were both different players and Yamate was much more experienced, and the play style he brings towards the team was far different.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I would love to see Titan walk away from these last couple of weeks, say, look, if we're going to be serious about this, we need to adapt, get some solid practice in, and come back. Because if they were a team that had all of the traditional strategies that everybody's running at the moment, so your carry Luna, maybe one of your fast push lineups, something like that, and you've got that split push element that you can bring out when you need it, I think they could be an absolutely amazing team. And they've definitely got the players to do it. All of these players are tried and tested. Yeah. So we'll see.
I'm not doubting their players. Like, it's just the general strategy that I feel. And having the OD means it's a good direction towards change. OD is a different type of play style already.
Turn to pick.
Yeah, it's fairly passive, but if you're going to go for the OD, say, as a mid, hopefully we'll see something a little bit more active out of one of your other lanes. Maybe we can see another Mirana from Miracle.
Maybe it's gonna be a Slug, because like OD will take a lot of farm and Miracle plays Slug. Slug is those type of carries that you just need a little bit of, maybe not a little, some farm. A little is just like off lane Slug, but he's gonna play safe lane Slug with some mediocre farm and rotate around the map to gank. So probably with that, then it will help the OD, it will create space for the OD to continue farming, since it's too greedy if you get two position 1 heroes, and OD is sort of a solo mid that is a position 1 himself.
Yeah, and it would be a nice pickup as well to have a carry that can move around the map, because you have a hero like Visage who scales very well with farm even from a support position. So I think you've sold me, Winter. I really wouldn't mind seeing the Slark pick up. And what's your take on Slark in general in the current version? He sort of got introduced back into captain's mode. We saw a flurry of him being banned and first picked, and teams were putting him off lane and putting him as their one position. Do you think the dust is settled, or do we still need to see maybe a couple more weeks?
He feels like a Lich King at the start. When he was introduced with the Neo Dark Ritual, he was picked over and over again, but after some time, he settled down, and sometimes he's picked, sometimes he's not. I feel Slug, it feels that way too. Like, at the start of the change, I felt, why do you change the ultimate? I prefer the 20-second cooldown. But the more I play, it feels like the 4-second invulnerability is like, wow, this is actually good.
Yeah, basically invulnerability. You can still be hit by AoE spells, but
Get BKB. first item BKB solves that problem. So it's most of the time when you try to be efficient, you use your BKB and you click hitting, and as soon as your BKB wears off, you use your ultimate after that. You try your best to do that, but sometimes you just have to pop your ultimate early. Slug isn't the tankiest, but I feel in general, the new ultimate actually is much stronger in competitive play. But the old ultimate was very good in pubs because people don't get sentries and thus.
Yeah, it's funny for me to see some players still adapting to the Slark. I've seen support players, in competitive games, the Slark pops his ultimate and their immediate reaction is to jam a sentry into the floor, and then they realize, oh, that doesn't work like that anymore. And I guess it just goes to show how you develop a muscle memory for things over time, and balance changes can mess
that
with
actually
you.
happened. That actually happened during WPC. I'm not sure if you saw this. The game where DK were playing against IG, the Wiz and the Tiny. The Tiny missed his stun. The Mirana was teleporting in front of them, and when the Tiny ran in front with the tether on him, the Mirana just cancelled his DK and tried to run. We were like, what? It doesn't stun you anymore. He was going to escape for sure. It's like a muscle memory. You forget. Oh wait, tether doesn't stun me anymore.
Yeah, it's the expectations for sure. And I mean, expectations are something you can talk about forever in Dota. You see, even at a basic level, you see a pickup like a Pugna or a DK, you expect them to get at least one tower down for you before a certain point. And we've even talked about it in some of the games today with, mind games and thinking that, okay, this hero is coming to gank me because he's off the map, but it's actually just one team exploiting the expectations of the other team. But
yeah.
Anyway, so the draft has proceeded.
That's actually a very deep part of the game.
Yeah, but anyway, so we don't have that long to ramble on about it. The draft has proceeded. So Titan are going to end up picking up the Batrider here. We do have Tongfu going for an Earthshaker, so it looks like Venomancer is going to get a little bit of a promotion. Who's running where, I guess is the question. I would think more likely Venomancer mid, Prophet offlane?
They did this before. When there's an OD on the enemy team, they use Vino against the OD. You just place wards, and you don't skill Gale at all. Poison Sting and click wards, and you push the lane, and you're happy as a levy.
5 seconds
you probably buy a Bassi as well. There's nothing that the OD can do in terms of counter pressure on the lane. He has no pushing abilities whatsoever. So I guess you just keep it jammed up underneath his tower and make it a little bit difficult for him to CS and go and claim all of the runes for yourself. Though Venomancer not the best ganker.
And Batrider is actually a very good way of stopping the pest placing wards. You just pull him to his doom. And it's most like, I don't know if they'll actually run, I've seen this before for Miracle. He runs safe lane Batrider and another carry on the off lane. I don't know if they'll do that, I'm just saying.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye out for it. Tongfu choosing to ban out the Clinks, so still expecting something a little bit split pushy coming out from Miracle.
I don't know about you. It feels like an anti-mage game for Tongfu.
For Tongfu? No, well, you called it, Winter. Nice.
Dire team pick.
They ban out Morphling, Luna, and Klinks, and it comes to my mind the anti-mage. Wait, that's anti-mage.
And they've got the Venomancer to create some Okay, Venomancer and Earthshaker and Rubik hold down the early game. They stall the game for the first 10 minutes. Then Prophet comes online, so the ball gets passed to him. He starts split pushing. He starts creating some space. He's gonna have to be a little bit careful about the Batrider, but point still stands. And then you've got the Anti-Mage to take things over for the late game, apply more split push. And Titan could just end up being split pushed to death here. So the one thing that we talked about for the Anti-Mage, it's that invitation to end the game within 20 minutes, before the Anti-Mage has anything relevant to say about the game. Do you think Titan can accept that invitation, or do you think they're going to have to play a little bit more for the long game here?
They have to accept that invitation. There's a Prophet and an Anti-Mage. It's not fun to play late game with those two heroes. You're mostly going to be on the losing end. I feel like Slug is actually very strong to create a lot of pressure here. And Batrider offlane or even jungle and Slug safe lane. Slug is very good against a lot of the heroes. Oh no, they're going to go for even more spam. Safe lane Wind Ranger? Oh my god. Why? But why? Oh, it's not too bad. It's also a very aggressive pick, but I would have preferred the Slug. Slug would have got a lot more done and a very good hero to deal with the anti-mage as well.
Yeah, now they're very reliant on the Batrider to initiate and to get in behind enemy lines and actually set anything up. Like you said, you have to drag that pest, the Venomancer, out to be able to push into what Tongfu have.
If you feel the way America drafts, he always like over relies on something in the draft, and Like the Slug and the Wind Ranger, I guess like the Slug would have lifted some of the burden off the OD's shoulders,
10
but now it's like
seconds
really
remaining.
heavy on the OD and the Bat Rider since Wind Ranger is a hero that doesn't
5
really. Or maybe they're
seconds
gonna go
remaining.
aggressive tri lane with this. That's why they went for Wind Ranger.
Could be a really good
CM
way to put some pressure down on the AM.
Yeah. I think they will. I think they will. His item build
Prepare for
protection.
Yeah.
They probably will.
Yeah, so looking like an aggro try from Titan. So I guess we should very quickly introduce the context of this game and introduce the teams before we chat too much more. So guys, this is the final game of the evening for the Redbull ECL. 2013, 2014, I think it's still being played on the 2013 ticket and it's being billed as the 2013 finals. But this is Titan versus Tongfu. It's a 2-game set for the group stage play portion of the competition, and Tongfu are currently up 1-0 in this 2-game set, best of whatever you want to call it. So very quickly running over our lineups. Over on Titan, we have Net on the Crystal Maiden, Miracle is going to be over on the Wind Ranger, we have X or Extinct on the Visage, ky.xy is going to be heading towards mid as the OD, and Ohio is going to be over on the Bat Rider.
And on the Radiant side, the team that's sponsored by Tongfu Porridge, we have Kabu on the Rubik. Kabu is playing support. Samsung will be on the
yeah,
Earthquaker.
wait, what? Okay. Never mind.
Joe is on the Anti-Mage, Mu will be handling the Venomancer, starting with the Red Pencil, and CSMG is actually playing the Prophet. Maybe because Kabu doesn't play Prophet. Oh, Ohio, in trouble here.
Ohio?
Didn't change spells properly, but I don't think he would have died regardless.
What rune did he just deny?
Illusion.
I don't know if it matters.
Maybe if the Anti-Mage have taken mana break from the start, that would have probably killed him. If with the Rubik Leaf and the Fissure time better, slightly better, maybe they could have gotten a kill. But because he had Firefly, he's gonna have a weaker presence in the lane. That's not too bad. And they were actually anticipating the tri-lane coming. That's why they had the Anti-Mage on top.
Yeah, so moving the tri-lane up towards the top side of the map. Looks like they just inadvertently blocked out the side pull, so won't be able to secure themselves a little bit of additional farm that way. Extinct is actually making his way up towards the top side of the map. So it looks like the decision from Titan is to say where the Anti-Mage goes, they're going to follow, but I guess we'll have to see if they're going to swap the Bat Rider and the Wind Ranger as well.
Oh no, might be a remake. Too lag, it says need to change PC. That's not good news.
That's
but like you said,
really not good news.
But like you said, the Visage and CM has to be following, but at the same time, you really don't want to be moving as a Visage. And maybe Maiden will just be contented jungling and not going to be moving with the Visage, and it's just going to be... But I really don't like it if they are going to keep moving the Visage. If the Anti-Mage goes towards bottom, I don't think they should change anymore. So they should just leave it as this. Wind Ranger will be soloing at bottom.
Yeah, I guess farming on your Bat Rider is not the worst thing in the world. You get that fast blink dagger up, you can start putting some pressure on the map, and threaten the Anti-Mage a little bit. What kind of builds are you expecting this game, Winter? I'm thinking mech on the Wind Ranger, just 4-staff for the OD, and then blink on the Bat is goes without saying.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't build the mech on the OD. Maybe even build the mech on the Visage so that the Wind Ranger can build an
another
Orchid.
4-staff or an Orchid, yeah.
Orchid. I think Orchid would be a good option for the Wind Ranger this game. It's very effective against the heroes of Tongfu, and if you get it early enough before the Manta start, obviously it's going to be a huge plus for your team against the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, especially if they can keep him down with with early pressure from the Bat Rider and whatnot. And I guess this is also a game where the Anti-Mage, on top of Battle Fury Manta, he also probably needs to farm up a BKB if he really wants to participate in the fights. There's quite a bit of spell damage. There's the Arcane Orb to contest with as well. So it does add another thing on the list for Anti-Mage before he can really get things going. But I don't think that's even necessarily the plan for Tongfu, to fight Titan head-on. They're probably just going to split push as long as they possibly can. Nah? You don't think so?
No, I mean, yeah, they're not going to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Why risk fighting when you can always... I've said this a lot of times. Why risk fighting when you can always rat? And there's no risk taken, and you farm up everyone, and you frustrate the enemy. That's the best part of it. You frustrate the enemy.
They're running around in circles. They just want that one smoke pick off. They get it. They realize, oh, well, we can't even get a tower out of it because they've just pushed down our other two lanes. while we were getting this gank, and then
Yeah.
it ends up being GG, and you don't want to call
It's
GG because you
disgusting.
haven't lost
It's
the racks.
disgusting.
It feels
Disgusting,
terrible.
basically.
Yeah, it feels terrible.
Vino defending the base. Fisher, Fatebolt comes out, the creeps die, and you see, oh, anti-mage is at top, oh, Prophet is at bottom. We have to go back, guys. We go back and repeat until the day comes where you can't even push the creep out past the river of the map, and that's when you know you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and then they have a 20k gold lead that they've slowly worked their way towards, and the anti-mage has 6 slots, and the Nature's Prophet has 6 slots, and you consider calling GG, but they haven't taken a lane of Rex yet, so you keep on fighting, and it's all a very drawn-out affair. I guess one thing that I would like to see a little bit more against some of these split-pushing strategies is, a strong lane pressure hero with a fairly early boots of travel. I feel like BOTs... Okay, this is just my perspective. Yeah, is it an item, do you think, that's maybe a little bit underpurchased against split push, or am I just crazy?
I feel like on 2 heroes, in my opinion, it's best to deal with split push. Number 1, obviously, is Bad Rider. Number 2 is Invoker. I feel it's very good. I feel it's very, very good on Exalt Invoker, where you get the Midas, and then get, maybe after your 4 stuff, you get a Boots of Travel, because like the sheer presence of the map is so powerful with the double Force Spirits. You can just BT to a lane and use your Force Spirits to push out, and you'll be just constantly hiding off the map. You don't have to be on the map, that's the thing, and you're farming jungles, and you can BTs to gank and join your team. Like, that's a very important part of the Exalt Invoker. So you have that global presence around the map, not only with your Sunstrike.
Yeah, fair enough. It's just, it always comes to mind in these situations where it's always, the team that's trying to deal with the split push, they bring 5 heroes down a lane, they push it out, they get close to a tower, then they get forced back to TP because, the Prophet and the Anti-Mage are off split pushing. They don't even get a kill out of the Prophet or the Anti-Mage. And then, well, then the lane that they pushed out gets pushed out again, and we rinse repeat. But I guess if you have BOTs, you can have somebody sitting at the tower. You can hold on to that tower, push the lane out, and then TP to group up with your teammates and actually do something. But yeah, that's just the thought.
That's really good, like especially on Timbersaw. You just push and TP over to the lane. That's a very, very good point of getting the Boots of Travel, and it also actually prepares you for the super late game very well, since you're going to be getting a lot of more extra income by having the Boots of Travel. Not to mention you save the gold from buying TP scrolls as well. In the long run, it's obviously beneficial.
Yeah, the one thing to say is that Boots of Travel are not a fighting item. It helps you deal with the split push, but it's 2k gold.
It is a fighting item. Give VTs to the fight.
Yeah, so, okay, looks like we're still having some technical issues, so maybe there's a PC being swapped out or something like that right now. We have been paused for a little while now.
It's gonna be a long while. I have this feeling, Chinese lens and PC broken,
So they go and find the other PC that's all the way on the other side of the venue, and...
Yeah, they'll probably replace his CPU, and that's gonna take some time.
Yeah. So, well, I guess we've got a little bit of time to hang out, a little bit of time to chat. I feel like we've already talked about what we're probably expecting. Yeah, for the next 10-15 minutes of the game. So, Winter, do you want to talk about that career day speech thing that you're doing? No? Come on, huh? Come on. Talk about it.
It's about basically have to introduce about esports during the talk in Malaysia.
So you're going to a university and...
Yeah, it's a university.
Okay.
And it's very far from my home. It's going to take me a while to get there.
Okay, and you're going to give a talk about esports as a career and your experience and all that. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know why you'd be embarrassed about talking about that.
No, I just don't know what to say about that because I haven't done my slides yet. I have some form of ideas about what I want to talk about, but I haven't done the outlines and stuff. So probably do it on Monday.
So Winter, give us the TLDR. Is it esports as a career? Good idea, bad idea?
It is esports as a career. I told the organizers that topic is actually not very feasible because esports as a career in Malaysia is very highly unlikely. But they just told me to just try to make something positive out of it, even though the perception of esports in Malaysia is very bad. So I'll try my best to swing up with something, and hopefully people will like it.
We believe in you, Winter. You carry the hopes and dreams of the Dota community on your shoulders to this little talk. So anyway, we've managed to make enough small talk to get to the other end of this pause. So thank you very much, Winter. And looks like we can get underway. Nice.
Yeah, Boots of Travel could be a very legit first item for Bat Rider this game. Coming to think about it.
Yeah, if you ask Hani, yes, definitely.
Yeah, he would.
Sure.
I actually think it's very underrated that Bat Riders sometimes just overly focus on getting the dagger as his first item, because like Boots of Travel allows you can still farm in the jungle and you'll be a constant threat to the team even though they can't see you. Even they know you don't have a dagger, but they still know you. There's always a potential you already have it. Like it's not a bad option to go for Boots of Travel first.
Yeah, and if you have any 2-second stuns on your team, you line up the stun, the Bat Rider BOT's in, lassos the guy after the stun, and away you go.
Yeah, not to mention this game, they have the Familiars, so it'd be cool to be flying in on the Familiars.
Okay, who needs the Blink Dagger to initiate? You just have the Familiars loop around the side, travels in.
Bat Rider.
Ohio stunned, gonna head over into the trees. He doesn't have boots, so he's very slow. Turns around for a stack of sticky napalm. That might end up costing him. He's gonna pop the salve, but he ends up being lifted. Ohio now runs out of Firefly.
That's first blood.
That's first blood. Why did he turn around for the stack of sticky napalm?
First blood, and you had
He
been
tried.
against
I think
it.
he was still gonna die, even if he didn't do that.
Dire's
He was
top
just in a
tower
very
is under
bad
attack.
position after trying to. He tried to use Firefly to clear out the creep wave, and oh boy, that was just a very, very, very costly mistake there by the Bat Rider, by Ohio.
So I guess the one thing that's worth saying is the Bat Rider's base move speed is actually not that impressive. The Bat is pretty slow. It's as slow as Rubik on
Doesn't make
foot.
sense, right?
Yeah, like what? You know, Luna's really fast. Mirana's
Visage is like 290 as well. Those two heroes are flying.
Yeah, turns out wings are not very good in the Dota universe. Another fish are going to go out mid lane. I don't think ky.xy is completely blocked in here, but there's still going to be a Gale. Yeah, it looks like he's dead as well. Doesn't even have an Imprison up right now, so he's just going to eat some punches from Sansheng and down a wall.
Wow. Even before that was happening, if you look at the last hits, Veno is 10-3, Veno is 10-3, OD is 8-3. OD was actually already losing to the Veno before that. Wow.
Yeah, and move.
No wards! No wards! Look at his skill build. I thought it was like Poison Sting and wards. It's actually Gale
and Sting. I guess it makes... Sting is very difficult to trade against. The Venomancer gets something like 100 damage out of each auto attack, and...
Just the issue I have with it is... Will you ever have enough mana for Gale instead of ward?
Probably not. Probably not. I will agree with you on that. But maybe he starts going back for wards now? We'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah, and it's also because of the purpose we were discussing that the Veno just needs to make sure the lanes always push out with the wards, and the ODs, you're just basically trading farm with the OD and pressuring the tower of the OD at the same time. It's very beneficial. Unless you get kills with the... Oh yeah, he's gonna go back for wards now at level 5. You're right?
Okay, so he's prepared. He's got his Ring of Aquila up as well, along with the magic stick, so he's going to be able to sustain his spam.
Yeah, Nat is gonna smoke up himself and it's gonna come in, try to get ZSMJ. They have 1 point in Shackle, 3 points in Power Shot. This should be a kill on ZSMJ.
Yeah, ZSMJ goes for the side shot, but it's only to pick up some phase boots. Miracle still trading hits, but in comes the bite. Shackle shot gonna go, power shot, chops off his head, and that is gonna be Titan managing to get on the board at the very least.
Yeah, very good rotation from the Maiden. And he realized that he can't really do too much at top lane since the Bat already gave up a kill. Wow. Another kill on the OD. This is like the main killing target they have to go on to hamper Titan's mid-game strength, the OD.
Yeah, and that's 2 kills down. And that was a really timely gank from Net as well, just because I think the Prophet had just picked up his phase boots. The Windrunner was a little ways away from picking up hers, and as soon as you have a damage advantage in one of these ranged versus ranged matchups, it's a pretty big deal on Net. He's been sodded out by Sansheng. Is there a TP available on the Prophet? No, he actually chose to use his TP ability instead of his TP scroll to get back towards bottom lane. Net goes for the Invis rune, and looks like he's going to be okay.
I think maybe they could have gotten a kill. I felt maybe there was a chance to get a kill. If Fissure blocks the Maiden from taking the Invis, and he would have to run backwards to the face of the alien in middle lane, and he would have died.
To the Venomancer. Man, Veno used to be pretty cute. back in the old days. The Imprison goes. They don't have enough mana for the Gale, however. Moo only has 120 right now. He's going to regen it up. ky.xy bottles a little bit. Extinct comes in. They still throw the Gale. They're going to keep on going for this one. They're 3 seconds away from having another Fissure. ZSMJ TP's in. Is there going to be Imprison? No. Unable to get it off. ZSMJ just going to phase boot off to the side. Body blocking himself a little bit with the Treants. But another nice kill picked up by Tongfu, and ky.xy having a really hard game.
Yeah, he is having a really hard game, and ZSMJ going to plant a ward as well on the middle lane so that the Vino knows what's going on top there. This is really good start for Tongfu, and considering they are the sides having the anti-fun and they are the ones leading with the start.
They're basically playing 4v5, but they're winning.
Yeah, they are winning by a huge margin now. Looking at the CS charts, Bat Rider is 34, Wind Ranger is 34, Anti-Mage is 33. Prophet is slightly off the mark after dying once and TPing into assist middle, 24. But all in all, the kills is the what that matters on the OD. 3 deaths now on ky.xy. That's like the huge factor.
Yeah, and Titan wandering around the map a little bit right now. ky.xy is actually going to swing over to top lane. Ohio's making his way through the jungle. Kabu going to spot at Ohio. Sancheng holding on to the Fissure. They lift him back. He's got a lasso, but the Prophet ultimate bounces in. And that's it.
They are falling apart. Changing lanes right now. OD is taking the top lane. He's sick and tired of the Vino wards spamming and the ganks coming. The supports are, however, going to smoke up all the way to bottom, but CSMJ is nowhere to be seen. Teleported all the way back to base. He can even swing towards middle to pressure right now. Then the gank could... Oh, he's going to do that. The gank is just totally wasted.
And that was Titan looking for somebody other than the anti-mage. They don't feel that they can actually do enough to pressure the AM, so they're just looking for other heroes, and yeah, end up not going to do anything about this mid lane either. Just going to be a tier 1 given up for free. Moo going to pick up that last hit. And I think Tongfu are going to force a response. Surely they just...
Anti-Mage is so happy right now.
Look at all of this space. All of this space for activities. All this space for farming.
This is like what the Phantom Lancer would have wanted the last game.
But Tongfu doing it by pressuring aggressively with their supports. Ohio doesn't get hit by the Gale. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Prophet ultimate miss as well. Didn't hit him.
But
wasn't the Prophet ultimate
Titan. They get a shackle out onto 2. They get a bring them back. Echo Slam dropped on top of Miracle. He pops the wind run, trying to escape. It gets finished off by the Fissure. And Titan just didn't really have that many heroes there. It was a nice shackle shot for Miracle, but not really that much follow-up. Extinct's all the way down on the bottom side of the map. A little bit of an overextension. Deny attempted by Net, but that's going to be 2 towers back-to-back for Tongfu.
Oh, that is just really questionable, like you said. Why did he have to do that?
Because he landed the shackle. Like, Extinct.
Yeah, it's like you landed 5-man RP, but you're alone.
Yeah, exactly. And RP does pretty much no damage these days. But anyway, so Extinct went to TP to top lane. He cancelled it. Now he's walking back to the courier to grab his TP. ky.xy, suspicious that the gank is heading his way, is going to retreat back into the trees, and he's right. Kabu and Sancheng have smoked up. They're making their way to the top side of the map. Titan all just kind of milling around the tier 3 mid right now. Looks like they're going to pick up a smoke. Where is it? It's coming out on the courier? Yeah, okay.
Bat Rider is 2,000 gold. Boost of travel, maybe? Nah, he's gonna get a dagger.
He's gonna get the blink dagger. I'm a little bit surprised they don't let him farm 100 gold and get the blink dagger before they go for this
They don't have the time for that because too much pressure is being exerted on Tongfu by Tongfu supports right now. They need to give ky.xy a hand.
Yeah, so ky.xy, he's got the Sanity's Eclipse, not a whole lot of charged up. Kabu just gonna end up popping the wind run. Not quite sure why.
Look at the map basically. Bottom lane, 2 heroes pressuring the tower. Top lane, 3 heroes pressuring the tower. They need to take a fight.
Yeah, they get the imprisonment. Ohio's gonna walk in. They need this drag back on the anti-mage, but the lift from Kabu's gonna buy him the space to blink away. He's still gonna end up being shackled. Prophet ultimate bounces through. Sancheng won't be able to turn around for the Fissure. It's on cooldown for a little bit. Zhou, another blink another blink coming up in a second. Lands a 4-man Fissure. Looks like Sancheng's gonna end up paying with his life, as did Kabu on the Rubik. But they managed to get the anti-mage back to safety, and that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, and Red Dotto, bottom lane, they're gonna... This is actually very worth it, I feel. Even the 2 supports go down.
2 supports for 2 towers? Yeah.
Yeah. It's alright. Anti-mage didn't die. That's the main thing. You don't. Your big bro survives and you take a tower. That's all you need.
They get the tier 2 bottom lane. Last hit picked up by Mu. What's he actually working on right now? Is that a completed mech flying out? It is indeed. So Tongfu could honestly just continue pressuring if they want right now. Yes, the anti-mage doesn't really have anything, but they're quite convincingly winning this game 4v5, even without his help.
He's gonna not have a too quick battle fury, but his teammates are all very rich. The Prophet and everyone else. Arcane Boots on the Rubik.
And we've seen this story before, Winter. It's the Invis on Mu, ky.xy gets scaled. Joe, is he gonna take this kill with the Mana Void? Yes, he will. And another kill for Tongfu. Poor ky.xy, man. He is 1 and 4. 1-4 and 1 so far.
He's not having a good day. Bad day for his Magnus and bad day for his OD.
Dire's top tower.
Yeah, and just look at these items on Tongfu.
Blink Dagger.
Blink Dagger on Earthshaker.
Oh my god, he has Blink and Arcanes at 11 minutes.
I kind of think he should have gone Midas, I think.
What more can you ask
He's
for?
only level 7.
Yeah,
what does blinking and echo slamming
level.
do? Yeah, I think he should have gone for Midas instead.
Dire's middle
it's still
tower
fine
is
though.
under
You can
attack.
blink and
Okay.
features. Still not too bad. Still not too bad. Just you can't really execute your combinations properly. That's why some
Dire's
players
top
they
tower
totally
is
forgo
under attack.
enchant totem unless there's a Rubik on the enemy team.
Yeah, Ohio jumps in, he's got this Blink Dagger, drags back Mu, the mech's gonna pop after this, and the Echo Slam comes in, connects on 4 along with the Prophet Ultimate net, very low. The mech's gonna keep everybody on Titan healthy, but the Fade Bolt bounces through, finishes off one. Ohio trying to retreat Kabu, what did he get his hands on? It's just the win run this time around. Double kill for Extinct. Titan gonna try and set up Kabu. Pops the wind run, but he ends up being shackled. The lift goes out. Familiar still in position. Fade Bolt gets used. Kabu gonna try and escape, but unable to do so. Tongfu. It looked like they were about to get a 4-man team wipe, but no, there's not even any points in Poison Nova. Okay, that could have helped. Anyway, so
Yeah,
Tongfu.
but the main problem was the chaining of abilities of the Earthshaker, even though he got a fantastic ultimate.
Yeah, that was a
Dire's
huge
top
Echo Slam,
tower
but
is under
unfortunately no follow-up. A little bit anticlimactic. Meanwhile, Joe is just pushing out bottom lane, finishing up his 12-minute, 40-second Battle Fury, along with Treads. So he's doing very well for himself.
That's actually really quick, considering that he only has 67 last hits.
They have 5
Wow.
towers.
Oh yeah, they have too many. They have too many towers to account for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, this isn't particularly amazing farm from Joe. This is just everybody else on Tongfu playing fantastically and pooling gold to their big brother. So Anti-Mage just gonna start farming. Prophet's got his Midas up, working on his Necro Book. As soon as Tongfu take a single lane of racks here, I think that's pretty much just it for Titan. I don't know how you're gonna hold out against the Anti-Mage and the Prophet at the rate that they're going.
Do you think they are even supposed to have this sort of tempo with the Anti-Mage
No.
and Prophet? Look at the towers. This doesn't make sense.
Again, it's 4v5. They are beating
just
Titan
doing
4v5.
this- Yeah, they're doing this 4 versus 5 without
Yeah.
the Anti-Mage.
I mean, yes, they camped ky.xy so hard that he's basically not in the game at the moment, but so maybe it's 4v4 because of that, but that's 4v4 because of Tongfu's efforts, really.
Yeah, points for efforts for sure.
So ky.xy just working on his 4-staff right now. TP gonna come up to the top lane for Ohio, gonna try and stall this push out a little bit. Mu does have that first point up in the Poison Nova at level 10. Joe just gonna keep dealing with mid lane, has his Quelling Blade up, no big surprises there. And Titan, let's see if they can hold on to their
Dire's
final
top tower
outer
is under
tower
attack.
up on the top side.
I don't really think they can unless they take a fight.
And can they? Well, I think, should they just take a fight? They've got a mech, they've got a Blink Dagger, they don't have the 4-staff just yet, but
Yeah.
they're getting pretty close.
Hmm.
They're not gonna
Maybe
have
they're
another
not-
round of
Dire's
items
top
for a
tower
while.
is under
Maybe
attack.
they're not confident, I would say, because the OD is
Radiant's
almost
bottom
non-existent
tower
in the
is
game
under
because
attack.
how far behind he is.
Titan they're kind of moving up 4 hero
Dire's
smoke.
structures are
This
fortified.
needs to work for Titan. If this
Yeah.
fight
Dire's
goes
top
badly,
tower is under attack.
This is 4 versus 5. It should work on numerical numbers alone.
yeah, on the numbers advantage, there's going to be a TP out from the Prophet as well. ZSMJ abandoned ship. They get the tower down. Tongfu just going to try and escape here
Oh,
without
Shaker.
too many casualties. They throw out the Gale, Extinct's caught off a little bit, but they're going to drag back Sansheng on the back lines. He drops the Echo Slam. They use the Sanity's Eclipse for that one as well. It's 1 kill so far. Moving to keep on fighting. He's got the mech, he's got stick charges. Keeps on going for this net. Cancels the ultimate, going to go in for the TP. Looks like he's going to be able to escape. Kabu in trouble as well. Extinct picks up a double. Ends up being 3 for 1 at the end of the day. So working out alright for Titan, but they still lose the tier 2.
Space created and Samsung, but Samsung actually made the damage more because he bought out, and that was not very helpful.
Yeah, not sure what he was going to accomplish with that buyback.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I would say that buyback was, even though it was an error for buying back, but nah,
not a big deal.
Yeah, it was not a big deal. It's so early into the game. The time spent not having to farm gold is not very significant right now. He's gonna need one more level at least to be able to chain his combinations properly.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while all that was happening top lane, it was 4v5. Anti-Mage was farming. He's got 2.2k gold right now, so he's doing just fine. Necro 1 up for the profit. And Titan, how many smokes do they have left? Not enough. They don't have any for 8 minutes in the store, there's none on the courier, and there's none in inventories. So this is going to be a very difficult 8 minutes for them.
Roshan is probably gonna go down soon.
Yeah, they've got the profit to tank it. They've got
Gem.
reasonable damage. And yeah, like you said, gem up on Kabu.
He already has Vlad's the anti-mage, so this is gonna be the time for him to farm and farm and farm and farm. This is not looking too good. If they are able to just get the Roshan, then they'll be able to control the game significantly well to take fights. They just need the Roshan right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Titan is still going to do everything that they possibly can to try and break out of the situation. Ohio's actually hiding in some trees right now, just in case the anti-mage tries to split push a little bit too far, or the Prophet TP's in.
Yeah.
So they're still preparing. Like, they've even got a word a little bit further down the lane, just to see if somebody is going to make, you know, a push just a little bit too far that still feels safe, that they'll be able to punish, but it's really tough for Titan.
By the way, do you wish you have a Boots of Travel if you are Ohio now? Look at the map.
Yeah, I
So
think
open.
you kind of do, yeah. Oh, they managed to find out ky.xy. This poor guy manages to get the imprisonment off, but he's already slowed down by the Gale. He's going to pop the Force Staff. He's got the Sandy's Eclipse to maybe drop. Fade Bolt and a couple of right clicks finish him off. And there's just no map control for Titan. There was nobody nearby to be able to help him out there. And looks like the whole time he was being spotted out by a Radiant Ward.
And Miracle is split pushing with the Wind Ranger. Yeah, if I'm the enemy, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, what is the Wind Ranger going to buy that
Radiant's bottom
strikes
tower
fear
is
into
under
your heart?
attack.
I'm not sure. Do you maybe consider a Rapier if you're Miracle at this point? I think you have to go for desperation plays.
Nothing you buy is gonna change the game as a Wind Ranger.
Oh, they managed to bounce 2 out of the pit. Show's gonna jump straight back in, get shackled up. That SMJ, just to make sure that nothing weird happens, is gonna end up taking the Aegis.
Oh,
So.
they don't have Force Staff, so he's gonna be stuck there for quite some time unless the Prophet
Summons
he's gonna
Trance.
TP.
No, Moo's just gonna TP out. Okay, so Aegis in the hands of Tongfu. Maybe a different way to phrase this question is now, how long did Tongfu prolong the suffering of Titan? How many items does it take for them to feel confident enough to push up onto the high ground? They've got the Necro 3 finished on this MJ. That's going to be flying out right now. Anti-Mage, maybe just
they
Manta and Heart?
They can just take however long they want. Nothing to worry. I feel they don't have to worry. They can just go whenever they are feeling confident and whenever they are feeling ready. Late game scenario with the OD in such a dire state is nothing to worry about. As long as they do not make mistakes, they have the game. Kabu even has Sanity's Eclipse.
Ouch. Okay.
Not gonna do too much damage.
Yeah,
but
not that
burn-
much damage, but still,
burn
like
all
that's
the
just
mana.
that just sucks if you're
If you
Titan.
think about it, Necro
Yeah.
3 burn mana, Sanity's Eclipse burn mana, Anti-Mage ulti. That's actually part of the plan.
That sounds devastating, but we'll see if it happens. So Tongfu just kind of continuing to pressure the lanes out. 3k gold up for your Anti-Mage. You've got the Force Staff up for Ohio. ZSMJ, as we're talking about, has that Necro 3 completed as well. And Titan just struggling to establish themselves on the map at all. If you switch it over to Titan's vision, all they have is this one kind of optimistic ward on the bottom side of the map, and that's it.
They see nothing apart from that.
Yeah, they see nothing aside from plague wards randomly being dropped from hills.
They
and things
just
like
placed one ward there and
Yeah.
he got the ward right away. Lol.
Oh, that's sad. Oh wow, Moo's going for a Necrobook as well. So, if you thought that this was going to be quick and painless from Tongfu, maybe think again.
It's going to be quick and mannerless, not painless.
That's for sure. Oh boy. And this is exactly what we were talking about during that pause, Winter. It's like, if you're Titan, it's like, what do we do? How do we win this game from this position? But you're not down to racks just yet, so you don't really want to call GG, just because it feels a little bit premature, especially to your pride.
There's only like one way I would have foreseen them coming back from this situation, which is you need the OD to be 6 slotted, like Midas into a lot of items. Oh, Joe's gonna blink in Ohio. Prophet's gonna come in as well. Oh, ky.xy seems to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, 4 staff into trees is going to be able to TP out. Ohio is actually going to end up eating the death for him.
They just lost the whole maps of control because of that. Now it's just gonna be up to Tongfu how they want to slice and dice Titan up.
Yeah, they lost their ward as well, so Titan just went completely dark as far as this map is concerned. And looks like
Anti-Mage is pushing your high ground without a Manta style. You're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, well, look at all of these Necrobooks. It's double Necrobook. They've got the Vlads up as well. They're just going to start chipping away. There's going to be a Shackle going out. Keep in mind that the Anti-Mage doesn't have the Aegis here, so maybe a little bit too aggressive. It's going to be able to blink away. Barely alive. It's going to be earned back to health.
4 points in Scout Shield.
SMJ is going to be dragged, but they lift up Ohio. SMJ still in some trouble, but again, he's got the Aegis this time around. He's going to be right back. Sansheng jumps in with the Echo Slam, drops it onto 2. ky.xy still stunned up, is going to end up imprisoning himself for a little bit longer. Another nice Shackle for Miracle, buying some space. ky.xy 4 staffs down onto the low ground, is going to end up being popped by the Anti-Mage ultimate. Tier 3 is gone. Tongfu have only lost the Aegis, and this is looking like it's going to be the first lane of racks.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Anti-Mage just survived from the Spell Shield. He had 4 points in Spell Shield. That was very rare to see Anti-Mage having so many points in Spell Shield there. At level 15. Rex down, Anti-Mage, you were talking about this. How do you come back from 1 Rex down against a Prophet and Anti-Mage? Good luck.
Yeah, you're just... The Prophet or the Anti-Mage is going to sit right here for as long as he wants, keep the wave pinned in, and I guess the only hope is to... you can catch one of them with the Batrider. You can't catch both of them, and...
You can't catch the Necrobooks, that's the problem. That's your biggest problem.
Yeah, and at this point, they're just gonna start. They're just gonna keep on pushing, there's no glyph available. Tongfu actually pushing very quickly with these Necrobooks. They're gonna get the drag back onto Kabu this time around, but the Fisher flies in. Kabu stays alive because of the mech, gets his Fate Bolt off. The imprisonment goes down, Miracle completely out of mana. Show another ultimate coming up in just a second. He's eating some big damage from those orbs. And looks like he's going to have to back off. Manta Style gets delivered. Moo caught out a little bit. Eats an imprisonment as well. Can they get these familiars in? They don't actually have stuns. And Sangcheng to come in and make a little bit more space with the Fisher.
They lost the gem though.
Yeah, but Joe's going to jump in. Pops the Mana Void. Little bit of damage, I think, over onto Miracle. Joe, another blink coming up, but he gets shackled. Beautiful shackle into a power shot for Miracle. Sansheng jumps in, Net in some trouble. Prophet ultimate not going to bounce through onto him. They still get the killing spree out as Extinct is going to end up dropping. Sansheng being chased. 3 seconds to another Fisher. Net's the one in trouble this time around to this MJ. What's he got? Ends up being shackled to his teammate. They're both still pretty healthy. Moo going to come in, gets the Gale down onto Miracle. All that he has left in terms of mana is that wind run. Sansheng with the blink in. Miracle may be on the wrong side of that Fisher, but not a big deal. A couple more right clicks are going to end up dropping him. Ohio trying to retreat back to the fountain, but no such luck. Blink in from the Anti-Mage, pops the Manta Style, brings him down. Miracle going to keep on trying to fight after this buyback. ZSMJ just on the run, does have a Sprout. Joe jumps back in, Echo Slam gets dropped on the head of Miracle. They're going to try and force staff him back to safety. They get the imprisonment down, he is alive on 15 hit points, but one more right click from the AM brings him to his death. 66 seconds dead. And at this point, Tongfu well, not even caring about this mid lane of Rax. They're just going to keep on fighting. Another 2-man Gale. Poison Nova gets dropped. Extinct. Gonna go down. And that's going to be the GG call from Titan.
Very disappointing performance on them after
Dire's
coming
middle
away
tower
victorious
is
at
under
ACG.
attack. Dire
That one
victory.
person changed a lot of changes with one different player in your team. That's
Miracle
how much
versus
it affected.
Yamate.
Yeah, the playstyle difference, like they were very used to the Yamate playstyle already from ACG, and it's just not working with him.
Wow, Net had 4 bracers.
Wow, he's actually 1-0 and 9. That guy.
Well, Net actually had a pretty good game, so kudos to him. He had almost 100% participation and no deaths. So I don't know. I guess Net was the MVP
MVP
for Titan. Yeah.
But no one else is MVP. Like, whatever. Like,
Look,
no one
nobody
again,
else has 0 deaths. He is the only person that didn't die the entire game.
Yeah, he's the virgin of the game. So it's still disappointing for Titan to go down like this.
Yeah.
A lot of expectations. Like the game against DK. Okay, DK is the champions of WPC. That's much more forgivable, but they should be able to do much better against Tongfu.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah, I mean, Tongfu
really
are a
should.
team that at the moment are going 2-1, a lot in best of 3s against, against your other top Chinese teams. So, yeah, Titan being unable to take a game is a bit of a problem for them. And that means that Titan are going to be heading into game 2 with a 0-4 record. Tongfu are 2-2, and DK are 4-0. Tomorrow is actually going to be a really big day for IG. They have all 6 of their games to play tomorrow, though of course there are going to be some breaks with Hearthstone and whatnot, so it shouldn't be too strenuous for them. But I'm just going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. It was Tongfu versus Titan. I've been Basecamp here casting on behalf of Beyond the Summit. I'm getting a little bit tired, as you might be able to tell. So if anybody wants to leave me any feedback on my casting, you can email me at basecampdota@gmail.com. Otherwise, you can find me in all the usual places under the name of Basecamp. Of course, big thank you to BTS for having me on to cast this evening. And big thank you, of course, for Winter for joining me. I'm going to pass it over to him for closing thoughts and plugs and shoutouts and all that.
I know why you're tired. It's 3 a.m.
It almost
It's
is.
3 a.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it almost is. It's 2:30 in the morning right now, but and there was 3 a.m. in this game as well.
Yeah, so you can find me at my Twitter, twitter.com/winterdota, or my Facebook, facebook.com/winter.dota. Thanks, Mr. Basket. I'll catch you tomorrow, probably.
It was a pleasure. So, thank you very much, guys. Again, don't forget that you can support BTS, buy an Elgato, follow the channel, subscribe if you've really enjoyed. Show your appreciation. I'm sure you can go check out their Facebook or their Twitter as well if you would like. Tomorrow's schedule, again, is jam-packed full of IG. They have 3 games to play. We're going to start off with DK versus IG, then it's IG versus Tongfu, and then it's Titan versus IG. So hope to see you guys then. Again, expect some more delays. There are Hearthstone games scheduled in between each of the Dota matches, so be prepared to play a game and things like that in between series. But aside from that, hope you enjoyed the coverage today, and I hope to see you tomorrow.